As reported in the Financial Times back in October this year, Merlin Entertainment has had their credit rating dropped, which has led to many fearing either a restructuring or worse for the entertainment company. At the end of 2024, it operated 135 attractions across 22 countries around the world, included being the dominant player in the theme park industry here in the UK, with many attractions such as Alton Towers, Legoland Windsor, Madame Tussauds and much more. With this latest report regarding the company, plus all the stories throughout the year of them selling off assets to other companies or trying to find buyers for them, we discuss today in this video what will Merlin look like in the future, and especially for us here in the UK. So a little bit of history for Merlin Entertainment. The company was actually formed in 1998 after a buyout of Vardor Attractions was completed to form the Merlin Entertainment Groups Limited with the backing of a private equity firm, Apax Partners. However, in 2004, Apax sold the company to another private equity firm, Hermes Private Equity. 1 year later, in 2005, Merlin was once again sold off, this time to become a division of the Blackstone Group. This is the moment that the company started to become what we have seen for many years. Later that same year, Blackstone bought a controlling stake in Legoland theme parks for approximately £250 million. In 2006, they purchased Gardaland in northern Italy. In 2007, they purchased the Tussauds Group and merged it with Merlin in a deal said to be worth $1.9 billion. This would mean attractions like the Madame Tussauds wax museums across the world, and in the UK, Alton Towers, Thorpe Park, Chessington Worlds of Adventure and Warwick Castle, all operated for many years under the Tussauds Group, would now operate under Merlin. In 2010, on the other side of the world, they purchased a large collection of attractions in Australia and New Zealand and the greater Asia Pacific region from two purchasers of the Village Roadshow theme parks and Living and Leisure Australia. In November 2013, the company made a massive change and went public on the London Stock Exchange. In 2015, they opened the Orlando Eye on International Drive in Orlando, Florida. And in almost 20 years since acquiring Tussauds Group, Merlin has expanded globally using those brands like the Dungeons, Sea Life, Madame Tussauds, Lego and more to spread their footprint across the world. This year alone, Merlin still operates 28 attractions across the UK, giving them a massive monopoly over any other competition in the UK theme park industry. However, this now all seems to be slowly changing. At the end of 2024, Bear Grylls Adventure in Birmingham, UK was closed, and changes to the upper management of the company also happened around this time, including a change of CEO. In early 2025, it was then reported that Merlin was looking to sell most of their Sea Life centres in the UK. They also made around the same time cuts to the entertainment offerings in preparation for the upcoming UK season of theme parks, leading to many job losses just before the season had begun. In June 2025, Merlin announced all of their Blackpool attractions would be taken over and operated by Blackpool Council from August. This would include the Madame Tussauds, Blackpool Tower and Blackpool Dungeons, and it was confirmed that at a later stage these would be removed from the Merlin annual pass. In August, it was reported Merlin had put on hold their sale of the Sea Life centres due to still not attracting a significant enough offer. Then, most recently in September, Merlin and Lego Group announced that the Discovery Centres would be sold back to the Lego Group for £200 million, and this would leave Merlin to only operate the Legoland resorts around the world. As you can see, Merlin seems to be slowly shrinking its portfolio of attractions they own or operate, and also making cuts to jobs, especially to tackle their struggling performances in recent years since the COVID pandemic. As a small summary for what this video is titled, I think Merlin, the company we see today in the UK, will be a shell of its former self, say in about 10 years' time, and here is why I think this is the case. Merlin are clearly looking to move on anything that is, in their eyes, not a major theme park attraction. This is indicated with just their activities in 2025 alone, with Sea Life, the Blackpool attractions, and Lego Discovery Centres. My personal opinion, if you ask me what is next, I would have said that it would be the London attractions that could be next on the list, as these are going to clearly be expensive to operate and would save a good chunk of money for the Merlin company if they wanted to move these on to another operator. I especially think a move towards selling or moving operations of the Dungeons attractions across the UK is a likely next move for the company if, again, appropriate offer is made by somebody. Merlin recently also in 2023 agreed a rumoured 50-year deal to take on the operations of Cadbury World. However, this is something that I can clearly see Merlin potentially coming to a deal with Cadbury again if they feel necessary to cut the deal short and end their responsibilities for having to deal with the daily operations and the employees at Cadbury World. However, long term, I would say more based in the UK, could we potentially see a future where Merlin would only operate and own the Alton Towers Resort, Fort Park Resort, Chessington Worlds of Adventure Resort, and the Legoland Windsor Resort, the four biggest theme parks here in the UK, with three of them of what they required from the Two Swords Group back in 2007. Let me show you quickly how I think this is a possibility. Okay, so let's just quickly take a look at Merlin's UK attraction portfolio, and something that I'm just beginning to notice with all the different news and things that they have been doing in recent months and years. So, first picture I'm showing you here is Merlin's UK attractions as of 2024. And as you'll see, there is the Bear Grylls Adventure also still listed on this picture. So, this is before they've done this closure. But if we move on to 2025, as you can see, I've crossed off the Bear Grylls Adventure because that closed at the end of 2024, and this left everything else without an X remaining as part of the Merlin UK operations as of this year. So let's now move on to 2026, and as it's been reported, obviously the Blackpool attractions will be taken over by the Blackpool Council, so they'll no longer be part of Merlin's UK operations from basically end of this year, but let's go for 2026. And also alongside this, Legoland Discovery Centres are also due to be no longer part of Merlin's UK operation portfolio. So as you can see very quickly, they are beginning to lose a few of the brands and things that make the Merlin Annual Pass very attractive with the amount of attractions that you have available to yourself on the pass. So if we then move on to 2027, let's speculate that they might get a deal for the Sea Life Centres, and obviously they would then be removed from the portfolio. And also, as I've already mentioned in the video, let's talk and say they are able to get rid of the dungeons as well. So that all happens in 2026. Let's speculate that happens. As you can see, by then 2027, they are almost half of what they are 3 years prior in 2024. As you can see, it is starting to become a bit of a pattern, and something very clear that I've already sort of speculated that maybe Merlin are looking to start removing all these minor little attractions to them, or I think what they call midway attractions, and maybe they are planning to just leave the big four theme parks in the future. But let's speculate just a little bit more and imagine if they also got rid of the Shrek Adventure attraction, because even though, like I say, with the fifth film coming out, it is a bit of an outdated old brand, even though it is still quite popular. I don't really know what the attendance is of the London attraction at the moment, but let's speculate in 2028 or by 2028 that is also removed. As you can see, it is a much smaller operation than what it is, and that would be in just 4 to 5 years. And also what was speculated at the time, but we now have confirmation is not going to happen, is in 2028 the London Eye was due to be closed, apparently, with the planning permission that was permitted for the Millennium, that it looked like it could potentially have closed in 2028, but from what we've been told, it is now extended, and it now means that the attraction will now remain. So I haven't put an X on this because we do have confirmation, but that doesn't stop them potentially getting rid of the London Eye through a deal, selling it to another company. So it could still potentially be on the cards, but we'll have to wait and see in the future whether that might be something that they look into. So let's talk overall the reasons why all of this is now happening to Merlin Entertainment. They have to operate and pay for them costs for all of these attractions, and by doing so, they cannot fully invest in what they want to do or even need to do now to compete in a marketplace that is changing in the future, especially here in the UK, which I'll explain in a minute. And that will stop them from being able to make major attractions going forward if they keep the company as it currently is. Many reports have been made in recent years of poor operations, extensive downtimes on rides at their parks, all likely down to possibly the cuts that they are now having to make to maintain the company as it currently is today. Selling off all unnecessary assets like they have done with the Bear Grylls, closing that or selling off the Discovery Centres frees up more capital for them to put back into all their other attractions in their portfolio, including, most importantly, the 4 major UK theme parks that they operate. And they are currently doing this, and they need to do more, as the future does certainly look scary for Merlin Entertainment here in the UK. As more players enter the UK theme park industry and are looking to build and operate attractions here, the biggest of them all is obviously Universal, who will open a resort in Bedford, still currently slated for 2031. Based on the latest TEA attendance figures, all of Universal's parks, apart from Singapore, rank in the top 25 theme parks in the world, with the lowest of them being Universal Hollywood, with 8.7 million guests in 2024. Likewise, Merlin's biggest attraction in the UK, the Alton Towers Resort, in the same attendance figures, was ranked 10th in Europe, but theirs attendance was only 2.5 million guests. So as you can see, it is a massive difference in attendance, and something that Universal are certainly planning on bringing over to their UK resort is these kind of attendance numbers. And with the massive brand that Universal is and the level of investment that will be available to them as a company, Merlin needs to plan ahead to be able to keep themselves competitive in a marketplace which they have dominated for so long, but may very well soon not be the case. And I think what they are currently doing right now is planning for the future, along with managing current financial obstacles as well. As many know already in the UK, next year they are making some significant investments in 2 of their 4 major theme parks, with a Paw Patrol land coming to Chessington in 2026, and also announced the first ever Bluey theme park ride in the world, a massive brand across the world, will be coming to the CBeebies land at Alton Towers also in 2026. And if we go back slightly, Thorpe Park recently opened Hyperia, the UK's tallest roller coaster, and further additions and further investments are planned for all 4 of these parks in the future beyond 2027, including Project Horizon at Alton Towers, which is due to have already been opened but still has yet to even begin construction, but previously had planning permission from the Staffordshire Council. So it'll be interesting to see whether that soon becomes a project that now goes forward with Alton Towers post the Bluey attraction opening next year. And also in 2027 it is expected that a Minecraft theme land with a new indoor and outdoor roller coaster and a re-theme of the Wild Asia area of the park is due to open, which again is a massive IP for the park to have acquired. With the popularity around the world and still going strong today, it could potentially bring in much needed additional attendance to that park going into the future and help it sustain its place the best it can in an ever-changing UK theme park industry going forward. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is a quick overview myself of the history of the company, what has been happening in recent years for the title of this film, and where I think I could see the company going. Now, initially, I don't think this will potentially happen where we will see Merlin Entertainment in the UK only operating the 4 major theme parks, but I certainly can see this potentially being something they will definitely look into in the future, especially if the company still fails to recover as they're hoping to in the near future financially. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next few years. Next year looks very bright for the parks. As I said, with the two major additions coming to Chessington and Alton Towers. Nothing currently is announced for Thorpe Park, and nothing, as far as I'm aware, is announced for Legoland as well. The other attractions, there'll be minor changes probably here and there, but nothing has been officially announced by Merlin themselves for particular attractions, other than, as we said, we've heard that they are looking to potentially see if they can sell the sea life centres. So I can't see major investment being made in too many of them, if that is still what their desire would be, if they can get an attractive offer. The dungeons as well, I haven't heard many changes for a few years to any of the attractions in the UK here for them. Warwick Castle, again, since the addition of another hotel, I think last year it was, there isn't really too much they can do there either. So the major investment will certainly be in the four main parks here in the UK. Two of them certainly get an investment. Again, Chessington, again, we're expected the following year to have the Minecraft land as well. So a massive 2 years for them. And it will also be interesting to see, as the year goes on next year, what planning permissions go in for these parks, if there's anything happening. There was an outdoor space with a stage meant to be constructed for Thorpe Park, which I think they got planning permission for last year, but nothing actually ended up happening on half of the beach area that they have there. So it'll be interesting to see if any developments also happen with that. Maybe for them to host more events in the summer, probably concerts and that would be pretty cool. I think that's probably where they're going to end, with that more adult vibe for that theme park, more thrilling park. So it'll be interesting to see where the future of Merlin goes, but certainly at the moment it is looking bleak. I know many people that vlog for the theme parks here in the UK, they have said about poor operations and the sad state of the entertainment now with certain cuts. Hopefully it's something that Merlin can get turned around and we can see an improvement in the future. And because I love these parks, I used to have a Merlin pass for many years. Kelly still does. She has a silver pass, $9.99 a month. We've kept that going just so we can get the discounts if we do go. I gave up my yearly renewal for Merlin this year. I would certainly consider it again maybe next year, because I think we're planning to go a couple times with the Bluey ride and the Chessington Paw Patrol land. So we'll probably have some vlogs from them parks coming next year anyway, whether it's either I have a Merlin pass as well or we just go as a normal short break. So it'll be an interesting time for Merlin, but we will see what happens in the future, and hopefully it's something that they can turn around and keep going in the UK. But obviously it's a very certain time here in the theme park industry, with many different people coming from outside the UK opening their first attractions here as well. It's a very competitive market, and it might actually be a good thing that we're hearing these different little bits. Maybe Merlin are trying to prioritise what they exactly want to keep and improve, so that it secures their futures, rather than getting down the line where they'll be left with no choice and having to sell the entire lot, which we hope obviously doesn't happen. But hopefully it will also bring better things for the parks in the future. So everyone, that is the end of our video today about the future of Merlin Entertainment. Let me know down in the comments, what do you think the future of Merlin Entertainment is going to be, especially here in the UK? Do you think they will be selling off more assets of the company, like the dungeons like I suggested, or will they go through and find a buyer for the Sea Life Centre? Also, let me know in the comments what you think about the future of their individual theme parks, like Alton Towers, Thorpe Park, etc. Let me know in the comments what you'd like to see in them theme parks, and maybe would they actually benefit from Merlin selling off certain parts of the company so far in the UK, so they can benefit from better investments and get more high quality additions possibly because as a result. Thank you guys for watching and listening. Hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoy our content. It really does help the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss another video. And with all that being said, thanks again for watching, and remember, go out there and live life the smart way. Catch you all in the next one.